momentarily as we continue where we left off last night, William, and that is the resumption of the Dunn and Marcos Cup.
And what a night yesterday, night one was. Tonight's going to be just as good.
Talk about last night and what a night it was for these men. Again, we welcome you back here on IWTV. It is Ground Zero and Wild Zero partnering up for the Dunn and Marcos Cup here at the School of the Arts on the weekend of the Rochester Fringe Festival. And William, as we were mentioning, what a night. Both these teams obviously having success. That's why they're here on day two. But in the case of Kenny Starr and Keenan Moore, 2 wins last night, including a big one that earned them those Ground Zero World Tag Team Champions, the first of its kind.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Starburst, they went through the ringer last night having not only the Battle Royal, but that fatal 4-way tag team match, defeating the Carnage Crew, CXR, and 2 Infinity and Beyond to advance to this match. So 2 matches for Starburst in one night versus the High Seas, who beat PME, no slouch themselves. You got to figure that the advantage has to be with High Seas. They got more gas in the tank. They didn't have to go through as many teams as Starburst did. Your
point exactly. Starburst have made their way through a dozen tag teams already on the weekend, so the road has not been paved as smoothly for them as it has been for Cloudy and Nick Ando, but these 2 teams are familiar with one another, and in the case of Starburst, they are now 2 teams away from not only bringing championship gold home, but hardware as well in the form of the Dunn and Marcos Cup. Bell rings. We are underway here on this Sunday in Rochester.
Want to give a big shout out to the Fringe Festival here in Rochester, as well as the School of the Arts. Thank you for hosting the Dunn and Marcos Cup. And again, thank you to all the great fans on IWTV that are tuning in to watch this both yesterday and today. Without you fans, we would not be able to do this, so thank you.
And a not so similar pleasantries being exchanged from Starburst to High Seas. Nick Ando taking off the apron. Cloudy feeling the onslaught. Official trying to get things situated here as Keenan Moore was in the ring. Now the captain is going to come in. Forearms taken from Ando. He comes off the rope and gets clobbered. A double super kick from Starr and Moore.
And this is exactly what Starburst needs to do. They don't want to drag this match out. They want to finish this quick. Great sneak attack at the beginning. Great double team right there. They got to take this home now. If I was Starburst, I would get the win however you could. I would try to go for the count-out victory there.
This tag team tournament is now being seen as somewhat of an impromptu handicap match. Nick Ando has been ruled out of commission after that onslaught early on. And Cloudy, man on an island, but he's going to fight back. Here's an elbow. First to Starr, then to Moore. Gets a kick up. Another forearm. End of the middle rope. Here comes Cloudy. Hurricane Rana. Starr stumbling. Moore gets ready. Tope Suicida from Cloudy. And the crowd is into it here in the Flower City.
Oh, absolutely. That's that tag team experience, that veteran experience of Cloudy there, trying to be the rain on Starburst parade there.
And Kenny Starr able to burst the bubble of Cloudy, though, who gets caught up on the middle rope, and furthermore, stomping right over the back of the ear of Cloudy, and that's going to cause some issues throughout the match. And now Starr applying some pressure with an egotistical pinfall that Cloudy easily pumps out of at 1.
Now, you mentioned the championship gold and the trophy earlier. Be remiss, we talked about this last night with High Seas. Those Wild Zero Tag Team Championship coats are not on the line. However, if Starburst was to get the win, that could put them in the line for a shot at those. And could you imagine if they had the Ground Zero tag belts, the Dunn and Marcos Cup, and the Wild Zero codes? They could have everything under the sun.
As close as you can find to a tag team triple crown as a duo maneuver from Moore and Starr continues. Knee into the sternum of Cloudy. May have actually clipped him up toward the jaw as Keenan Moore with a pinfall attempt out at 2. Goes Claudia and William, to your point, again, these are champions versus champions in a non-title semi-final bout because the new Ground Zero Tag Team champions are, of course, Starburst. Wild Zero's tag belts belong to High Seas. So either team getting a win over the other, you would think, puts them in line for the opposition's belts.
Oh, absolutely. And I also want to make a quick side note here, talking with the referee crew earlier. Normally at a Wild Zero, you have a 20 count on the outside. However, with this being a combination show and for the Dunn Marcus Cup traditional tag rules, 5 seconds in the ring after a tag and only a 10 count on the outside. Just for all the Wild Zero fans that are wondering why the rules are slightly different this time around.
Well, and it's not just the fans, it's for the wrestlers as well, because this is somewhat of an alteration to their style. When you compete in multiple different promotions, you may get accustomed to one company's rules over the other, as a big kick driven into the spine of Cloudy from Kenny Starr. And by the way, Nick Ando, thankfully for High C's sake, has returned to the apron, but he has still been isolated from the action for minutes on end now.
But look at this. Cloudy is still not technically in the corner of Starburst. He's still kind of like in the middle. He could sneak back and get Ando in there. You gotta really cut that ring off. Keep him in the corner of Starburst.
Cloudy was put in a, we'll call it a Kenny clutch. Shades of a camel clutch there. No submission though from Cloudy on Alice. Oh, look at this. Kenny Starr just dragging the bottom of his boot across the neck of Cloudy.
And that could really, really, you know, make you disoriented and such. You know, when you're stepping on the head and the spine and the neck area, you can do a lot of damage to somebody. And after having that big match with PME yesterday, Cloudy and Ando, you don't want more damage done to you.
It's Keenan Moore driving the elbow into Cloudy. There's a big knee to the face, and it's non-stop offense for Starburst. Tornado DDT.
Picture perfect DDT by Keenan Moore.
Yeah, hold on a second, too. And Ando returns to action at a pivotal time, saving his tag team partner.
That could be the most crucial breakup I've seen in this whole tournament there.
Headlock into a sleeper hold immediately applied to Cloudy, center of the ring. You talked about it already, again, with William Gaines here at ringside in the broadcast booth. And William, when you are in tag team action and you're in the middle of the ring, you're that far away from your corner, you might as well be a mile away from the turnbuckles.
Oh, absolutely. You know, now, granted, I was never taken down like that because I'm a much bigger guy, but still, when you're away from your partner, that's total separation that you don't want that at all.
Oh, what a move from Cloudy. Wait a minute. And the script gets flipped, as did Keenan Moore, inside out, face first into the canvas. Ando from the corner, trying to wake up Cloudy. How much did that move take out of him?
And look at both men there. See, and to your point there, they were so far in the middle there that now they both got to crawl to their respective partners. You got Keenan Moore going to Kenny Starr, you got Cloudy going to Nick Ando. Who's going to make it first?
Tag made, Kenny Starr is in, and here comes the captain. Cloudy got the tag. Nick Ando for the first time in this match is the legal man. A lariat, basically a body tackle to Moore. Shots handed out to him. Starr is the recipient of a drop kick. It is all Ando action right now.
And right now, both Starburst are down there. This is not where they want to be. And all those hard shots from Ando into Kenny Starr, they're big on the whip.
You talked about it at the beginning of this match where these teams were at respectively with tanks of gas. Nick Ando's is on full right now after he was taken out for the first half of the match. Quick cover, could be moving on to the finals, and no.
Oh, big save from the tasty boy, the creature himself, Keenan Moore.
Keenan believes that he has Ando, and I think it's an Uno reverse card being pulled out by the captain, quickly dragging him face first, a semi-Hurricane Rana.
That could be more devastating than a regular Rana, because even though you're not as high, that face got driven into the mat very, very hard there.
You just talked about being as high. Well, now all of a sudden to the top rope goes Nick Ando. Is he thinking a Hurricane Rana from the high rank district? He is.
Oh, he holds on. Smart move.
Here's Moore with a code breaker. And down goes Ando. Back to the driver's seat goes Starburst for the finish. And they get Ando center of the ring. Starburst moving on to the finals of the tournament. No!
Oh, no.
2 7/8 as Starburst came one step closer to being in the finals of the Dunn & Marcos Cup.
It looks like Moore was just a second away there. Cloudy came from the other side. Gets dropped on his face.
What a cutter from Cloudy. Cloudy asks Kenny Starr, what do you have? There's what he has, a spine buster, and through the canvas practically goes Cloudy, but Ando goes back to work. And again, remember, Nick Ando is the legal man here for High Seas.
As is Kenny Starr for Starburst there.
And he gets Ando high with a knee, driving the boot into the jaw. Down is Ando again. They've already.
Oh, they're going for it. The creature feature.
Creature feature could be the end, but that short film is interrupted by Cloudy. Turn in, roll up, Ando 2-3. High Seas advancing. A roll up. Kenny Starr didn't see it coming. Cloudy, Nick Ando, High Seas have just punched their ticket to the finals of the Dunn & Marcos Cup.
And look at the, oh, here we go. Here we go, a Pearl Harbor attack from Starburst.
They are not taking the Ground Zero Tag Championships as a consolation prize. Kenny Starr and Keenan Moore all over Ando and Cloudy.
He's just choking it with the boot. You got Kenny Starr dropping the knees. But there's the hardware. There's the hardware. They're showing what they won last night. And in the words of Keenan Moore, that's right.
Well, it doesn't feel right, and these fans here in Rochester certainly don't echo the sentiments shared from Starburst.
And the chant of losers across the School of the Arts. But Starburst are not losers after beating multiple teams. I think you said a dozen teams or so between the Battle Royal and that Fatal Four. But right now, you got the High Seas that are on the losing end in terms of being able to get to their feet.
They won against 9 teams in a Battle Royale, 3 teams in a 4-way tag, but after beating